Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
And also to speak a native language of Mexico in Yaqui. Dios em chinea. And you answer Dios em
Jiokwe.
It means, Lord be with you and also with you in that way. The main event is the spring equinox. And so that's what I'm presenting here. And where it is a major event in Mexico, in the Mayan country called Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza has a large water cistern. It's called cenote. And Chichen Itza is basically what it means. It means the Itza at the rim of the cenote. And the Itza are a people who had long ago moved in there and built this pyramid. And so that's what the main reference is. And here in all of my display, I will explain that with the pyramid and what is happening on the winter equinox is mainly the figure myth of Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is an omni-myth. He's everything. He's the Lord of the dawn and light. He's the morning star. He's the evening star, Venus, and the guide of the dead. He is a man who became a god. He's a god who became a man. He's a worrisome penitent who reforms. He emulates himself and rises to heaven in the form of ashes that the birds herald him. It's totally tremendous. In ancient Egypt, as the ancient Egypt was subsiding, going down, here in Mexico it was coming up, just like that. Just like that. And the chief of ancient Egypt is Osiris. And the Christ, the one called Jesus, the Christ is an extension of Osiris, certainly. And the Yaquis are definitely people from the Osiris cult of the Nile. That's who they are. And here in Mexico, it all reformed itself. It built a huge city about 2,000 years ago. We know it only by the Aztec name Teotihuacan, the place where the gods dwell there. Who the people were, or what language they spoke, or what they call themselves, nobody knows. Nobody knows. But it was a theocracy, certainly. And it appeared there in central Mexico, fully formed. And it's the first instance that we have of this myth being Quetzalcoatl. There are murals and sculptures and all sorts of things there that we can infer the beginnings of the myth of Quetzalcoatl. The Aztecs appeared there, hundreds of years later, an abandoned city, and saw these magnificent, huge pyramids is what we refer to them, and gave it that name there, and kind of coined their own mythology out of it there. At Chichen Itza, there in the Yucatan region of more or less southern Mexico, this city, Chichen Itza, was abandoned about 800 years ago. But people have continued. It has continued as a sacred place. In Mexico, there are 21,000 recognized sacred sites. And people make pilgrimages to these. And at Chichen Itza, as I'm referring to this pyramid, they have continued over these centuries to regard that, to come there, and especially right now at the spring equinox. And the veneration of Quetzalcoatl and the pyramid continues in the lifeblood of the Mexican people in all manners, even with the European overlay. Underneath still is Quetzalcoatl. And up here, this is a carved mask of Quetzalcoatl, and on each side are Quetzal birds. It's hard to make out, but it's a very, very good likeness of this little green bird looks just like that, with extremely long tail feathers, green tail feathers. And that's the Quetzal. And it kind of is a synonym for precious. So Quetzalcoatl, precious serpent, and so forth in that way. Down here, this is a modern sculpture of Quetzalcoatl, and here are the Quetzal plumes. And over there is a modern-made votive for the pyramid, and it has over what we call the calendar stone of the Aztecs. Is a significance. And the flower there is a giant marigold, totally featured in the movie Coco. It is the bridge to the other side. It is a blessing. It is a memory. And the Day of the Dead is when it is most in evidence there. Here, the pyramid has been dubbed, what it is, El Castillo, because I guess it looks like it. But actually the Mayan name is Ku'u. Ku'u is the root form of Hanuk. Ku. Hanukkah means the one giving movement and measure. The Mayans are all about number. Everything is number into infinity. Fantastic. And here in this construction of this pyramid, is how we're referring to it, called Ku'u, meaning where all of these numbers are active. And what is happening here is that the serpent on the equinox is being formed by the sun and the shadow forming seven like triangles coming down like that. And that's the event. Many people will be there, and among those many people, some people will be on their knees. This is Shotal, and these people are the Shotales, meaning the people who are worshiping the event of the arrival of the cosmic energy called Quetzalcoatl. And it means, to be swallowed by this, the serpent is to be absorbed by knowledge. And that's the knowledge that is taking place here in this event. Up here on I made this very large for this. This is called G. It looks like the letter G, but it is called G, the same G of Gaia. And here it means the Milky Way. It means the beginning of our lives, our universe, and it also means I am here. And on each side there is this above the temple there. Sometime the archaeologists somehow got in here and they discovered inside here a chamber with a life-size, lifelike, carved out of limestone jaguar, painted with red, Canberra red, and the spots are green jade discs, and it's a throne for the sun. A turquoise sun disk rests on the back of the jade of the red jaguar. So that's what is in there. So everything that's going to be taking place there is a sacred event, and that this is the way that it is figured. It's a cosmic event. Whatever I say is not going to be enough for it all. And here's my piece that goes with this. The flower, my heart, it opened at midnight, that lordly hour. She arrived, Sehuacuatl, our mother, venerable goddess, serpent, desire. In the birth house, in the flower place, on the day called, one flower, the maize perfect is born, in the vapor and rain place, where we go angling for the jeweled fish, where we too make our young. Soon comes the dawn, the cloud red sky, Quetzal birds in the flowers. Here on earth you rise as the sun and say, I am Lord Quetzalcoatl. Let there be gladness among the flowered tribes and the Quetzal bird tribes, who are the source of the brave. May they rejoice, hear the word of our Lord, the Quetzal bird's word. Those whom we mourn will never be killed again. Never again will the dart of time strike them. Maize flowers, white and yellow, I've brought from the flower place. See, there is the Lord of the jeweled land, playing ball in his holy field. There he is, that old God. Coyote. Gracias.